everybody. Welcome to Beacon's Aura. It's good to see everybody come back for Mithrenon session 0 here. Um, so if you haven't already, if you're new, go ahead and give us a follow if you want to be notified when we do go live. We're going to go live on Sundays at 2. And today we're meeting Mithrenon, as I said, and that is played by Mike here. So Mike, you just want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello there. How you doing? I'm excited to play.
Yes. Um, I'm getting notified of Can't Be Heard again.
Oh no.
And I checked all the buttons. Let's double check. Can you hear me? We'll hopefully get this fixed out. I don't know why this is happening each week, but
Hmm.
we'll get there. We'll get there. Still new to this.
Hey. Kayla said she can hear.
Okay. Um, so yeah, I think everything's good. Okay. Everyone else can hear. Perfect. Rachel must have her stuff muted. Well, good. I'm glad everything seems to be going well. I checked all the boxes correct this time. but um, but yeah, we're gonna get started meeting Mithrenon. This is Mike who is playing him, and um, that's about all I got for announcements. Let's jump into this. Um, so Beacon has quite a mixture of residents within its aura. First, there's the group of humans that found refuge in Beacon 42 years ago. They came from many different lifestyles and backgrounds, nearly all being strangers. Some were lucky to have their family come with them, but tragically, many lost their loved ones. As time passed, they began their new lives. They learned of all the scattered cities and countries they originated from. 17 years after the humans settled into Beacon, a completely foreign race made their appearance. Two tribes of elven folk reached the shores carried by boats. One tribe had dark skin and silvery white hair, and they claimed to have a connection to the moon. The other tribe had golden skin with shades of auburn or brown hair, and claimed their connection to the sun. Rumors spread that these tribes came with mystical powers and timeless bodies, but residents who have encountered them recently only see their bodies as weary and as theirs, with abilities as mundane as their own. There is nothing different aside from their appearance and culture. Most of the elves remained in the forest with their tribes. Few, though, have integrated into the city of Beacon. We find one of these individuals selling fish at the local market in Beacon. Mithrenon, why don't you go ahead and describe yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Mithrenon, if you know my elvish name. To everyone else, I go by the name Renan. He is average height. He has long shoulder length, kind of like silky hair. Um, you can tell that it's kind of roughly dyed. It's not his natural hair, but it's a bluish teal, kind of mixed with a probably some paint dye or like some berries and like fish oil that he's used himself. But so he roughly has dyed his hair. You can see little puffs of silver kind of peeking through it. He wears a black beanie because he's got somewhat pointed ears, not too noticeable, but enough that he still wears his beanie to kind of keep it hidden. Obviously, he has a darker kind of like charcoal gray bluish tint to his skin. um, so he's definitely stands out among the humans here, but he tries to blend in as much as he can. He wears a white tank top, usually pretty much always covered with like fish guts and whatever he's doing for the day. He tries to clean himself up as much as he can. But he also wears a dark navy blue, like fisherman's jacket with little wooden toggles on it, and very functional, like cargo pants with pockets in them. and he always carries around one fisherman's knife. It's just a very simple, kind of like a switchblade, but just enough to um, kind of use it whenever he needs it. Keeps himself pretty, kind of keeps his head down, his hood up, just to keep out of trouble, and has been trying to make do and get by selling fish as he can. So this is just kind of what he does every day.
All right, so I mean, this day was a pretty good haul for you, all things considered. You got 3 large fish you caught and 5 small fish, so
Sweet.
that's pretty good for your typical day. So you're in the market selling these. Is there anything you do maybe to draw customers in, or do you try to blend in? I mean, how do you handle this?
Um, he's probably kind of like keeping his head down a bit, but whenever he sees like a customer goes by, he'll probably just be like, hey, good solid fish for it. Okay, no, you're hey, do you want any fish here? I got there's some bass and calf. Okay, all right. And he just kind of like stumbles through and not trying to make too much of a trouble, but he's still trying to like get people to kind of like look at his wares and stuff.
Hmm. So I mean, a few people do notice you. I mean, you do kind of stand out being of your elven race compared to
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the humans. So some people maybe seem a little shy to come over to see you, but there are some that you probably recognize. They'll come get like a fish or two from you regularly. Um, but as you're selling, you've been having a fairly decent day with your fish. I mean, good haul for the most part. It's enough to get you enough food to eat this evening. You notice an individual dressed in um, red and white clothing. It's almost more like a ceremonial robe type thing. Approach you, and you recognize this individual. You've probably seen him wandering through the markets because it's a gathering place. This is a representative of the Beacon. He goes around I can't even say the word. My tongue is not.
Prophesizing,
Yes,
yeah.
that's the word. Getting tripped up on the word. But he's talking about Illuminance, the deity of the city that is centered at the beacon, and he's going around sharing this with the people. He kind of wanders up to you, and he says, "You, good sir, have you seen the light of Illuminance?"
Oh, hey man. Well, I've heard about him. Just selling fish though. I mean, if you Beaconites want some stuff, I'll make you a good deal though.
We appreciate your kindness that you show to us, but we care more about your eternal soul and the fate of you as an individual. Our hope
Uh,
is to remove every corner of darkness, so there's no place for the wicked and evil things to hide. Is this something
yeah.
you'd like?
I mean that sounds pretty cool and all. I mean, good for you. Just not quite my cup of tea, I don't think. But hey, I mean, the Beacon's keeping a city safe, so go Beacon. Yeah.
Well, at least do we have your word that you will do what you can to protect this city?
And he kind of gives like a kind of like a an interesting kind of look at him and almost hesitant, but he just kind of shrugs and nods. I mean, yeah, I mean, what we're doing, we're looking out for each other and keeping each other safe, right? That's what we all do here.
Yes, of course. We need to make sure that everybody of the city is safe and protected. We don't want the darkness that which lies outside waiting to pounce at any opportunity to make its way in here.
I don't know. Definitely. I mean, that's why I stay inside the city. I don't really wander out.
So anything you can do potentially to offer some part of yourself, some sacrificial part of yourself to prolong the light of illuminance would be greatly appreciated and go a long way to protecting your customers and your neighbors and everyone in this community.
He kind of hesitates again and gives him like a weird look, like, Of myself? Yeah, I mean, like, I'll spread the word for you guys, but I mean, personal sacrifice? That's kind of weird.
I mean, it could be of a material. If you have any materials that you would be willing to offer up, or even if you want to dedicate your soul to serving Illuminance, we we would be more than grateful for any contribution you can offer, because we're all in this together. We're all in this to make sure that everyone here stays alive.
Or, and he like reaches down for like the smallest fish he has. And he's like, always here to serve, and just like hands it out to him.
And he says, "May the light bless you. We thank you for this."
And also with you, I don't know what to say.
Well, you have a wonderful day, sir, and we will always be at the beacon if you ever need anything.
Sure. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
My name is Kenson.
It's great to meet you, Renan. Yeah, if there's anything you guys need, just let me know.
Of course, we will. We are always here to serve. And he
We
will
kind of
bow to you a little bit and take his fish and walk off.
whispers and just like, oh man, he makes Pops look normal. Okay, all right. Well, that was cool. But just kind of keeping his eye on him as he walks away.
So yeah, he keeps kind of walking around. You want to give a perception roll? Your
Ooh,
first
sure.
roll of the night.
Dun dun dun. That's wisdom, right?
Yeah, it's a wisdom roll.
Good old -1. Ooh, natural 20.
Ooh.
That'd be a 19.
Okay. So you kind
Good
of keep an
start.
eye on him as he wanders through the crowd. Um, some people greet him warmly. Other people seem to look like they're trying to avoid him, like they don't want to get preached to again. Um, but I mean, this is a fairly common thing. I mean, to get the word out and to make sure that uh, the beacon can stay funded and going, they do need to walk through the markets or public places to try and spread words and get offerings from people. So you do see
Mhm.
the occasional person who will pull out some money and pass it off to Kenson, and other people at
With
their
his fish.
yeah, he's got his fish kind of wrapped up in a little piece of paper or something and stuck it in his bag. Um, and he's given some other food as he goes, a loaf of bread and other little trinkets. And he thanks everyone graciously. He seems pretty nice in general to everybody, and he's not really ignoring anybody. He's going up to everybody and equally
Hmm.
kind of spreading time with them.
And Renan's never had like any issue with them in the past. Like none of these Beaconites or
No,
whatever they call themselves, the
they're
Beacon Robes.
they're pretty nice in general.
Hmm.
They don't typically like try to shove it down your throat. It's more of like, if you don't really feel like you're interested, that's cool, but we hope that you'd at least like show kindness to the people around you and do what you can
Hmm.
to help your neighbor, that kind of stuff.
Cool. Okay.
But I mean, you continue to sell your fish as you go, and eventually enough people come through and you're sold out. You bought all the people bought your fish, so that's a good day when you sell out.
For sure. He's kind of definitely in a better, brighter mood. Happy that things have been moving today. So yeah, he's excited that he gets a full stomach of food tonight. He's not going to go hungry.
So as you kind of pack up your little table that you had there for your fish to display on, is there anything you want to grab at the market before you leave for the night?
Um, he'd probably just go and grab like a loaf of bread and maybe some like pieces of cheese and fruit just from like some of the local vendors. Just enough to kind of keep him by for like tonight and tomorrow.
Oh yeah, so you get enough to have dinner and breakfast and maybe even a lunch with how much fish you sold today. Uh, it's a good haul. And it doesn't come too expensively to you. I mean, most people recognize you because you sell at the market frequently.
Probably a lot of trading, yeah,
Yeah.
back and forth with each other.
So you are familiar with a lot of these people. They're kind of like your neighbors, and you might even talk to a few of them from time to time. But
Yeah, and I think oh, go ahead.
oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say probably, especially if they're like a kind of like a community here with the traders. Um, Once he's packed up and got his stuff, he's probably gonna you know, on his way back to kind of where he lives, he'll probably stop by and um, find like some of the local children that maybe like are homeless or some of them on the streets, so maybe that he's gotten to know, and stops by and gives them like half a loaf on his way.
Yeah, there's definitely some kids who hang out kind of at the outskirts of the marketplace, and they just kind of beg there as their orphans, and they kind of avoid getting caught up by other people to kind of be forced into like a foster care type thing or um, an orphanage or anything like that. They prefer living on the streets, but they kind of take care of each other. But yeah, they graciously will take it and just be like, thanks, Ryan.
Got it, buddy. Stay out of trouble now.
And they'll kind of run along and say, yep, yeah, okay. And they run off and they go and scarf up the bread.
Cool.
So on your way back home, it's getting close to sunset time, and you're making your way back to your little establishment. It's not too far from the lake that you typically fish in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's
Probably
more.
keeps like what, like a simple lean-to or something like that. Or he probably doesn't really have like his own house or anything, right?
It's it's not that hard to get a house because most of the
Okay.
buildings were abandoned. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a house that's farther away from the center of town, but it's closer to the lake that you'd
Okay.
fish in.
Cool.
So you do have to travel a little farther to get to the marketplace to sell, but it's not terribly far. It's probably only about a mile or two from there.
Okay.
And
Sweet.
um, but you have this little house that was mostly emptied out, and uh, you're able to establish yourself there and kind of make it your own place because there's plenty of abandoned buildings, but it's more secluded. I mean, you're not completely secluded because in this part of the city that you're in, you don't want to get too far out because
Mm-hmm.
the outskirts of the city are very dangerous, and that's where there's really nasty beasts that could be in there. These little pest creatures called dractos. They kind of fly around and they attack things that they might find, and they have been known to attack people from time to time and potentially even kill them if there is a pack of them. So if you're in more of the city, though, you're in the protection of one of the gangs of the city, known as the Skull Crushers, or for short, the Crushers, and they kind of patrol this area of the town and do their best to keep those types of pests out. And if they find an infestation, they'll go in and they'll take care of it as fast as they can because they don't want it in this part of town at all.
Yeah, no, Renan doesn't like those Dractos. He'll definitely stay where it's safe. Um, and he'll probably do kind of like I'm picturing the like Aladdin house where it's like he still keeps it from the outside looking like it's like a abandoned building or like a squatter, but on the inside it's very homey. It's probably got like a tarp set up and like some plants here and there, and um, kind of like a nice little setup on the inside.
Nice, nice. So you're sitting there eating your meal, and why don't you give me a perception roll?
Ooh, another perception roll. Oh, that would be a 5.
A 5. Okay.
He's just relaxed, not really looking around. Yeah.
So you're sitting there, and after about about a few minutes go by after you begin eating, you you hear very faintly a noise from outside. You're not really sure what it is, but it definitely is something that sounds abnormal for your area.
He probably spends like a good 30 minutes to or 30 seconds to a minute of doing like the whole. It's just pass. It'll go away. I don't know what it is. It could be monster. Could be a rat. It'll go away. And then if it doesn't go away, he'll reluctantly, kind of slowly get up and then peek out his door or like a window that he has just to kind of see what's going on, make sure he's not in danger.
Yeah,
But
so
he's definitely a little bit of a scaredy cat, being hesitant about it.
you do faintly hear the same type of sound again. So you get up and walk to your door and try to peek through the crack and see what you can hear. So you just slowly creak open the door, and you can hear a little better now that the door's open and you're not sealed in as much as you were. And you
Mm.
hear uh, a little more clearly now what the sound is. You hear what sounds like a woman's voice yelling for help.
It's gonna be a fun night, and he just starts running towards it. It's like
So,
not even hesitating at this point.
so it takes you kind of a second to pinpoint exactly where the sound is coming from, but you get a general idea and you begin hustling down towards the screams. And as you approach, you you hear a voice be like, "Honey, there's no reason to be screaming. No one's gonna come find you out here." And uh, you hear the sounds of this woman start. She's starting to sob a little bit, and eventually you turn the corner into an alleyway, and you see an individual there who you know he's probably not having the best intentions right now. He's got a dagger drawn on this woman, and he kind of just looks over. He's like, "Just give me everything you got, and we don't have to get anybody hurt here. No one has to shed any blood here." And she's kind of up against like a wall, uh, as far away from him as he can or she can be, and she's definitely like very emotionally distressed right now.
Renan just goes into like a full sprint and just goes, "You leave her alone!" and is gonna just try and tackle him off of her.
All right. First, why don't you give me a? Are you trying to be like sneaky at all about this, or?
No, he's probably flailing and
Okay.
full speed, like, "Get off of her!" Like trying to be intimidating, but it's like a shaky voice, and yeah,
Okay.
it's
So yeah,
nice boy.
you
Yeah.
just charge at him. He definitely heard you coming, running up. So why don't you give me just an attack roll with your
Uh,
strength modifier?
cool. Strength. Okay, so just what? D20 plus one.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I was not expecting combat. 14.
14. That will hit. So you collide with this guy, and you just shove him off to the side a little bit, and he kind of falls to the ground with a big oof, and he's just glaring at you. You've tackled him successfully to the ground here. And he's like, "What are you doing? Get off me! Hey, get this guy!"
Oh man, there's more. He goes, uh, he'll probably kind of get up and turn and make sure the woman's okay, and put himself in between himself and the woman, and just turn and be like, you never disrespect a woman like that. You got someone your own size. Or realizing what he's saying.
So this guy, he gets up, he kind of brushes himself up, like reestablishes himself with the dagger, and he just kind of looks at you, and you notice now that there's uh, three more individuals who kind of turn the corner of the entrance of this alleyway, and you're now trapped between this woman you're defending and these four thugs that are all kind of eyeing you up, and they each have a dagger pulled. And the guy who looks like he was the leader, the guy you tackled, he just kind of looks at you and is like, You made a mistake here, and now you gotta pay for it. Empty your pockets.
Renan's gonna just turn his head, kind of like side eyeing the woman, and he's just run, just get out of here, okay? Just get out of here.
And she kind of looks around, and you guys are kind of in a dead end area right now. It's
okay, so
more
she
like
doesn't
you're
have to
trapped
way
in there right now.
out. Yeah, I mean, he'll probably just, hey, look, man, not trying to cause any trouble,
Well,
just
you
leave her alone,
started
okay?
this. You have trouble now.
Whatever you need, man. I got fish, I got bread, I can give you guys whatever you need. And he like starts emptying out his pockets. There's like chump change and like a knife and like fish string. Like there's just nothing of value in there.
What's this junk?
Look, man, I'm not a man of means. I don't have anything on me. But look, there's no point causing trouble. You don't want to make a scene here. We can just walk away. Everything will be okay. Just leave her alone, okay?
You see, we need to make this right, though. You tackled me to the ground. You ripped my pants. Now, I have a problem with you.
I think it looks better. I'm just saying. It looks kind of debonair, intimidating. I'm sorry. Okay. No, you're right. You're right.
And he's just shaking his head at you. And he's like, maybe I need to put a hole in your skin instead of making it escalate a little bit and teach you a lesson about tackling people you don't know. You don't just mess with people when they're doing their business. You understand? And he's beginning to approach you with his dagger drawn.
He'll just like shield the woman. He's kind of holding his ground. Nervous. He's probably got like those like he's probably got those nervous tears. You know, like when you're mad and like but you just kind of got those little tears in the side of your eyes, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna yeah.
And the woman just is like, here, just take my money. Just let us go. We'll leave this all alone. Just take our money and go. And she'll pull out a little pouch with their money inside of it and kind of hold it out towards you to give to them.
He doesn't take it.
And the guy with the knife looks at you and just like, you gonna grab that for me?
It's not yours.
So that's how it's gonna be, is it?
There's like a hesitancy, like I can just give her the pouch and everything will be fine. But he kind of hears his like pop's voice in his head. To be a good man and to be integral, he goes, just kind of like puts his head down. And he's like, "Do what you got to do."
And he just kind of motions for one of the people behind to go up and grab the money. And you watch as one of the individuals who joined him begins to walk forward with the knife in their hand. And he kind of like looks at you and just says, you really should choose better. And he grabs the sack of money. And as he does that, he goes and takes his knife and he attempts to try to jab it into your side.
Ooh.
And that will be a 18 to hit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solidly good. All right, guys, it's been fun. We'll see you all next week with my new character.
So you take 3 points of damage as he just kind of jabs you right in the side.
And he's kind of like puts his hand over it, and he's just doing everything he can to like keep himself still shielded between them and the woman. He'll probably like lean up against like the wall or something like that. Like, okay, well, we can do this all day.
And as you stand there and you start to bleed out a little bit, you hear another voice from the back end of the alley shout, "Hey, do we have a problem here? I suggest you all be moving along." And you look back, and there is an individual who is standing there by himself. And he looks to be mid-30s or so. And he He's got black hair that's kind of styled a little bit. He's wearing a gray vest and a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, and he just is standing there with his hands on his hip, and he's looking at you all in the alleyway. And the guy who's been talking with the knife, he looks back and he's like, "Hey, get out of here! You want to get cut too?" And the individual looks at all of you and just like, "Hey, Atha, you okay?" And the woman looks to him and says, "Willis, I'm glad you're here. These men are attacking us. Please help us." And the guy's like, "Okay, now we gotta rob him too. You had to get him involved." And he goes and starts walking towards him with the knife. And you watch as this guy, who he calls Willis, begins to motion with his hand and chanting a little bit. And all of a sudden, the guy who begins to approach with the knife, he just blinks out. He's gone. He just disappears.
Oh, I'm losing a lot of blood.
The woman just comes walking over to you and says, "Here, here, here." And she reaches into another one of her pouches and she hands you health brew and says, "Here, drink this, drink this."
Okay, yeah, but I'm seeing things. That guy just disappeared. I don't feel so good.
She's like, "Oh, you're not seeing things. That's what's happening."
Okay. What?
Here, drink up, drink up. And
Yeah,
meanwhile, as this is going on, the three others just watch this guy disappear, and they immediately realize that this is not a place they want to be, and they all start running out of the alleyway. And you hear Willis shout like, "That's right, get out of here, don't mess with us ever again." And they scatter.
Yeah, Brennan will probably like finally sit down like after seeing them go and just kind of like start catching his breath and drink that brew.
Okay, so you drink that, you fully recover. It brings you back all your hit points. You feel the wounds begin to kind of seal up on your body, and you recover all your hit points.
Would the homebrew be something he'd be familiar with, or is that also something like he's never seen before? He's never seen magic, but
this is more of a medicinal thing that has been found that works here. So these are sold from time to time in different places. They're more expensive, okay, but you can get your hands on these types of things. So clearly this woman
might know about it. Okay, just nothing he's come across himself.
Yeah, clearly this woman comes from money if she's able to afford something like this to give to you.
Cool. All right.
So Willis begins to walk down the alley towards you, and here I'll just show you a picture of what he looks like on the stream, so everyone can see it. So this is Willis, and he begins to approach, and just says, "Atha, are you okay?" And "You, sir, are you okay?"
Renan still kind of like puts his hand up, like blocking Atha and him. He's like, "You know him?"
Yeah, okay. I know Atha. He I work with him.
He kind of puts his hand down. He's like, "All right. I mean, no harm, no foul." And he's kind of like still like looking where his wound's at, and he's kind of amazed that the wound healed.
Yeah, and it's still not like completely healed, but it gives you enough like rejuvenation of your life force to keep you going.
Sure. Mm.
And
so what was going on? Who were they?
So Atha just looks at you and is like, there's some guys who saw me and started chasing me, and I ran into this alley, and unfortunately it's a dead end, so I was trapped. And they're trying to rob me.
Are you okay? They didn't hurt you, did they?
No, I'm fine. They didn't get to me in time. You got here before anything could happen. And Willis looks at you, he's like, "And I gotta thank you for coming. I mean, I wasn't able to make it here as fast as I hoped I could. So, good on you for responding to somebody in need." And I'll kind of give you a pat on the shoulder.
Oh, yeah, no, appreciate it. That side's a little sore.
Okay.
But I'll like reach out his hand to like have him help him get up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he'll pick you up.
Um, yeah, I mean, just what we do, right? We look out for each other here. Uh, Nothing special. He's kind of still like clutching aside just a little bit.
Yeah. We gotta watch each other's backs. So that guy's about to come back. What do you think I should do to him?
Wait, he's coming back?
Oh yeah, I can only blink him out for a bit of time.
It's all you, man. This is all over my head. I'm just trying to keep my head down. Out of trouble.
Are you the type of guy who wants to give him a wound like he gave you, or do you want him to let him go?
He kind of pauses for a second, kind of like tempted, but he just shakes his head and he goes, "No, it's revenge isn't the way. Just let him go."
A man of mercy. All right. And you watch as he kind of like almost like dismisses with his hand a bit, and suddenly the guy pops back in. He's kind of like shocked, looking around like he doesn't know what's going on, and you hear Willis be like, "If you want more of that, you can come try to rob us. If you don't, you better get out of here." And he just looks like he's outmatched and just turns and books it out of there. So, what's your name, boy? Says Willis to you, Mithrenon.
Um, you can just call me Renan. That's what everyone calls me.
Renan.
Yeah.
Sounds good. My name's Willis Shaw. I work over at
Uh,
Spire Technologies.
it's nice to meet you. I appreciate the help. I'd be a goner if it wasn't for you. He kind of reaches out his hand for like the formal introduction.
And he'll definitely grab your hand and give it a shake. And just that, I mean, I appreciate you helping Atha here too. Um, you see, we got these warning beacons of employees of ours in danger. And she activated that, but I was not quick enough to respond apparently. But you helped her out, and she looks to you. She's like, "Yeah, I'm really thankful that you were able to help me. Do you live in the area? I mean, why were you here?"
He's he's still kind of like giving them both like an eye over to try and figure out if he can fully trust them. And
Why don't you give me an
he's
insight roll
he's
then?
always sure, yeah. Minus one, 15.
15. They both seem pretty genuine. Like the woman definitely is like coming down from panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, immediately when Willis showed up, there was a definite switch in her mood. Um, she felt much more like safe once Willis showed up, and Willis seems genuinely like grateful for what you've done, and almost impressed with you.
He's like eyeing them over for a second and then just kind of relaxes. I live around the corner. Just nothing special, but I fish in these lakes and sell it at the market. So I was just it's in the right place at the right time, but
Yeah.
nothing special.
Oh, I don't believe that at all. I believe you are definitely something special, Renan. Um, tell you what.
He kind of like puts his hand behind his head, just kind of does one of those like scratches the back of his head and kind of shrugs, like, I mean, okay.
Tell you what, Renan. Why don't we go back to my office, and we can have our true reward for your heroic behaviors.
Oh, that's not necessary, guys. I mean, look, he's just doing what I can. I don't mean to be any trouble. I don't want to bother you guys anymore.
No, this isn't a trouble. This is a thank you for what you've done. I mean, Atha's a valued employee of mine, and I would hate if any harm came to her. And you stepped in and you helped her. So a reward is it's needed. I mean, I have to reward you for your heroics. I insist.
He kind of like seems hesitant as if he doesn't really want to, but kind of like again can hear like pops in his, like manners, boy. Like, like you don't turn down an offer. It's like, yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah, whatever you need. I can go with you guys for a little bit. It's cool.
Wonderful, wonderful. Um, follow me. Athlete, you can come with me too, and we'll get in my vehicle. We can get going back to the office.
You have a vehicle? Wow, I mean, that's nice. That's not many people have those around here.
I mean, like I said, I work for Spire, and we're
Wow.
definitely able to get ourselves some of those types of uh, perks, I guess you could say.
I think Renan's curiosity is now kind of taking over. Like, I've never been around like rich folk before. Be like, sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can check some stuff out. That's cool. I mean, that's all right. Nothing, no harm, right?
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, like I said, I'm Willis Shaw. I'm head of the development and research at Spire Technologies, and um, we'll head back to my office and we'll celebrate what you've done here tonight. And he'll begin to lead you out of the alleyway towards this black vehicle that's out there. And again, this is one of those electric vehicles. There's plenty of old scrap vehicles that have been found throughout the city, and a lot of them have been kind of pushed to various scrap yards that have been out there. But the people at Spire have been able to repurpose some vehicles and create their own of other like electric type vehicles. And he brings you to there, and he opens up one of the back doors for you.
Brandon's just like, wow, Spire Technologies. But
That's
if
right.
you guys need a fisherman, let me know. I'll apply right now. And then he's kind of like, just kind of praising it a little bit before he gets in. Kind of just like impressed at like the quality of it.
And he'll smile and just say, "I'm glad you enjoyed. I hope tonight is a memorable night for you." And
Any questions at it? He kind of like gives a weird like little like look at that, but then just kind of like shrugs it off. You said it was night, right? Is it like cloudy? Is it like moon out, or like what's going on with
It's
that?
almost like past sunset. It's slightly cloudy today, so it's not quite like full darkness yet. But
Okay.
as night goes on, probably in the next hour or so, it'll be completely dark.
Okay. Yeah, if it's a clear sky, anytime he's outside, he'd probably put his hood up and just try to make sure his face is covered.
Okay. So you get in the back seat of the car. Atha gets in the passenger side, and Willis will get in the driver's seat and begin to drive down the streets. Willis will kind of look back at you in the rearview mirror and just be so, Renan, how long you been living in the city here?
He's just kind of like looking outside at like all the different buildings kind of passing by, kind of like he's never really been in this deep into the city before. Oh, just a few years now, like 4 or 5.
What brought you here?
He kind of like hesitates and puts his eyes down. Just life wasn't going too well for me. I was in kind of one of the river villages, and just thought I find some more work near the city. That's all.
Did you grow up there, or did you grow up in the woods?
Yeah, and kind of like looks at his skin. He's like, yeah, I guess it's pretty obvious I'm not from around here, huh? I mean, I was born in the woods. I just didn't stay there long. I ran away from them, so
Oh, really?
didn't really grow up with the elves much.
Not a good situation there for you, or what?
It was okay. I mean, Parents are nice and all, but it's just a different world. A lot of pressure there. Just, this wasn't for me. He's still kind of like holding back a bit. There's definitely a lot of like hesitancy and wanting to reveal everything to this stranger in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But he does feel like relaxed enough. He doesn't, he doesn't feel threatened by him. But yeah, his eyes still kind of like keep on like looking out the window and looking at like the different parts of the city and stuff like that.
Looking for a simple life. I understand that. That makes sense. Sometimes I wish I could get away from all the pressures. Start my own thing, Be my own man. But
Never too late to start today. That's what my dad always said, or my pops.
yeah, who knows? Maybe someday down the line. I'm still fairly young.
So you said you were in charge of the research and development. And what do you guys do?
Oh, we have lots of different branches we work with. I mean, there's weapons technology, armor, vehicles, other types of energy efficient devices we try to make. I mean, we just hope to make this city as nice as possible, considering everything.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's a good thing, man. I've been keeping the city safe and doing some pretty good stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to do what we can to help everybody. And as he kind of finishes up his sentence, he pulls in to this gated area of Spire Tower, which is it's a taller building. It's one of the taller buildings in this part of the city, and it definitely stands out from the rest of the surrounding buildings. And he pulls in and drives into a garage, and he'll get out, just say, "Okay, we're here. Now up to my office."
He's like walking out and he kind of looks down at his shirt, has like fish guts on it, and like probably some blood going from his shirt to his cargo pants. He's like, "I- I'm sorry, I don't mean to like dirty up the place. I don't doesn't seem like someone like me is supposed to be here. This is a nice building."
Brennan, you're exactly the type of guy who's supposed to be here.
Okay. And he kind of like questions that a little bit, but just like kind of doesn't make sense to him. But he'll just follow. He'll start following Sean.
And he'll lead you into a doorway. Um, and this is an automatic doorway. It opens up on its own as you just walk close to it, which is
God, look
definitely
at all this
different.
magic. Crazy.
And he leads you in, and this is a fancy place. Like, this is one of the fanciest, nicest buildings you've ever seen. You've probably seen Spire Tower from time to time, and almost long to go into it and see what was
Mm-hmm.
inside because it just looks bright and shiny and fancy. This has lights along the outside of it that definitely make it stand out at night. You can see it from a distance. I mean, this is a focal point of the city. Besides, like the beacon, Spire Tower is one of the more notable places in the city.
Yeah, he's probably definitely daydreamed about it a couple times. He'll probably start buttoning up his jacket to like cover up his shirt and like just tidy himself up a little bit. He feels really awkward and just kind of out of place here, like a fish out of water, if you will.
Perfect. So he begins to lead you further in through almost like a lobby area, and um, floors are all pristinely clean. All the glass is perfectly clean. I mean, this place looks really nice. Bright lights everywhere, and it looks really really different than most places you've been to that have been run down or worn and darker stains in different places. Like this stands out for sure. And he begins to lead you to looks like a doorway on the wall, and he pushes a button on the wall, and you hear this ding sound, and the doors part, opening into a small enclosed chamber. And he walks
Can you
inside.
just do this magic at will? Like you never like run out?
This is technology, my friend.
Oh yeah. Oh of course. Yeah. No. I figured it's just it's mad. Okay. Cool. No, that's neat.
Come on. Um,
I'll follow in.
so you and Atha both walk in, and the three of you are in the elevator, and it closes the doors, and all of a sudden you feel yourself begin to rise up after he pushes another button on one of the walls. And
He grabs for the railing like really quick. Like whoa whoa. Oh okay.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I guess this would be potentially a little jarring at first.
Hey man, little boy from the woods. This is pretty crazy for me.
So you feel yourself kind of rise up, and suddenly it comes to a stop, and you hear another ding, and the doors open up again, and you're in a completely different place now. Um, and he begins to walk down this hallway that you exit out into, and he says, "Atha, can you go get something to drink and maybe some food for us?" She's like, "Yes, of course, sir." And she begins to walk off in a different direction, and uh, Willis continues to walk down the hallway and says, "Brennan, you can come with me."
Yeah, sure. Well, what else is here in this area? I said,
So you see doors on both sides. They're all closed. They have different like name placards. It looks like on them. And as you go, you kind of can see like there's pictures on the walls, and there's little tables with flowers positioned between the doorways. And he eventually leads you down to a door, and he goes ahead and opens it up, and inside it's this nice room, and it's got this reddish carpet, this like dark red carpet, with the wooden desk in the center of the room. Behind there's a few panes that are windows that look out over the city, and there's a couple chairs positioned opposite the desks that look like they would be for conversations to have. There's bookcases, they're just covered in books. There's a side table off to the side that has tons of papers just scattered about it, and books open on it, and a couple couches that are kind of leaned back against the back wall closest to the door that you come in.
and he's
And
gonna like walk straight over to the windows looking out and just like get a good view of the city from this angle. Wow, it's
yeah,
it's different from way up here.
it's quite a beautiful view, isn't it?
Sure, you can see why you like it here. And he's kind of like looks around and like especially at the books. He's like, wow, I've never seen so many books in one place.
Are you a reader, Renan?
Kinda, yeah. And he kind of pulls out from his pocket like this really nothing as well kept as these books, but like a really worn, torn hardback. And it just says Bushido, The Art of the Samurai on it. And it looks like it's been torn a little bit and some wet stains, but he kind of keeps it on him and protect it as much as he can. And I mean, I only got one book, but um, it means a lot to me.
What's this one about?
Um, I guess about this old group of warriors and kind of the code that they hold by, just respect and chivalry. It's how I like to live my life.
It's a good way to live.
I like put it back in, like protecting it like this is mine.
Mm-hmm. Hey, why don't you have a seat? And he goes and sits in the chair that's behind the desk. And he points to some chairs that were in front of the desk.
Can he try and make a quick glance at some of those open books and papers and just try and see if he's would recognize like what they're about real quick on his way to the chair?
Sure, give me a perception roll.
-1. Can.
10. Okay. You you give a quick glance over. It's hard to make out much from the books. You do see some pictures that are on the page that are open on a few of them, and little sketches almost of something that sort of reminds you of magic, like runes that would be done. Maybe from your childhood, you'd kind of recognize this a little bit. Be like similar in shape and design. Um, the words on the pages, though, they're hard to make out. It even looks like the little note paper that you even look at. It it's very strange looking. It doesn't look like something you recognize.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, he just kind of like that's above my pay grade, or not like above like what he knows.
Yeah,
And then
over
he
your head.
just kind of goes to the yeah.
Go ahead and take a seat, and I mean, this is a comfy chair. Nice chair. Um, and Willis kind of leans back in his chair, and he just says, "So, I mean, you mentioned you were interested in employment. Is that something that you are serious about?"
Oh, I mean, I was just kind of joking. It was I'm just a fisherman. Like I don't think you guys have any need for me here.
You see, Renan, there's people in the world who are good and do what they can to protect it, and there's people in the world who are bad and look to harm others or just seek their own self-interest, even at the expense of others. And your acts of heroic behavior tonight show to me that you are exactly the type of person who I would want working here at Spire. It doesn't matter what background you've come from. I mean, it's your heart and who you are that's important when we look for candidates here.
Is how does he feel about that? Does he feel like Willis is being genuine?
Give me an insight roll.
Inside check. Oh man. Um, it's like what wisdom? Yeah, 12.
Okay. I mean, best you can tell, he's pretty genuine.
Okay. Renan likes him. Michael's still keeping his eye on him. All right. Cool. Um, yeah, I mean, it sounds like what you guys do here is really cool, but I mean, again, I just don't see how I could fit in here. Being nice isn't a job.
And at this point, Atha comes back in, and she's got a couple bottled drinks and um, like an array of crackers and various meats and cheeses on a tray. And she brings it in, and she says, "Hey, here you go." Says, "Oh, thank you, Atha. Thank you very much." And he sets it on the table, or she sets it on the desk in front of you guys. And he'll go and grab a couple crackers and make a little stack of cheese cracker meat and eats it.
He kind of like
Says, "Help
turns down.
yourself."
Like, thank you so much. That was very nice of you. And he kind of like nods to Willis, and he'll kind of reach in, and especially the meat. He doesn't eat. He can't afford it. So besides fish, like
Yeah.
it's like a delicacy to him.
So I mean, it's some good sausage and some good cheese, and it's pretty tasty. Um, and then he offers you the drink as he grabs his own. And um, Etha's just like,
He
yes,
said
let me.
it was like a bottle drink. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's probably either
It'd be like a soda.
it's more like a juice type thing that they make. So
Okay. Probably like drinking like just this like burst of flavor. Like, oh, wow, that's good. And I just drink water. Like this is good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, drink up. If you want more, we'll get you some more. Uh,
Thank you. I appreciate it. And he probably like downs one. Like
and he just says like, Etha, why don't you just bring a whole case up here? She says, "Oh, yeah, right away, right away." And she'll rush off. Uh, so, Renan, um, how would you like to be something like those people in your book for us here at Spire?
It just like laughs like, you mean like a warrior, like a samurai? I mean, you didn't you saw me there. I'm not much of a fighter. Like, I got stabbed for goodness grace.
I mean, you had bravery though. Skills with fighting can be learned and acquired. Bravery you can't really teach. You
Renan
know,
just kind of like sits back and he takes a breath and just like listening in and kind of like I guess he's now finally like just accepting this idea of like, well, like this Willis guy is serious.
like I was saying, in this world there is good people and bad people, and we need more people who are good and will stand against the bad ones. That's what I'd like to see of you.
And you kind of sighs a bit. Look, that sounds great and all. I mean, I'd love to be protector and have the ability to protect people and do stuff, but um, like I didn't really wasn't totally truthful earlier. I ran away from the woods in the village. I got to keep my head down. I can't be noticed by anybody. People could be people could get hurt if I start, making waves.
Why do you say that?
There's, I don't know, it's just stupid stuff with the elves. They've been kind of after me for a while.
Really?
And that was the reason why I had to leave the village. They threatened people I came to care about there, and I'm worried that if they find me, that they would hurt them or hurt anybody I'm around. I appreciate the offer. I don't, I don't think I'm the right guy for that. I don't think I'm anything special from what you see. I'm a nobody.
What if we could offer for you a way that you can make your own choices and have the power to back up those choices and stand firm with them? So no one really can push you around, tell you how to live your life, make decisions for you. You can you can stand in an alley against people who seek your harm or seek something from you, and you can tell them no and have what it takes to back it up. Would that be something you're interested in?
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Because we can do that for you.
How?
He'll stand up and begin to walk around to the front of the desk, and he'll sit next to you on the front of the desk, and just say, "Rumor has it that you elves have strong connections to magical abilities. At least he used to. Is that true?
I mean, there were fairy tales and legends, but the elders would tell us. But I mean, I never saw anything. Well, not really. I mean, there's a few warriors, I guess, that had some powers, but not really in our tribe. More in the other one.
You see, magic was a fairy tale to all our kind as well. I mean, you'd hear stories of people who possess these abilities, some good, some bad. These old witches who would eat children with their magic and use their magic to trick them, and heroes who would come in and they'd fire off all these spells at the bad guys and save a whole crowd. I mean, this was a story that we heard growing up. But through the research we've been able to do here at Spire, we've been able to, for some, unlock that ability, have that connection to this arcane ability be unlocked for them. And these fairy tales are no longer just fantasies. They're real. They're they're things that can be be a possibility. I mean, watch this, and you watch as he just kind of like blinks out and appears across the room, like 20 feet away. And he says, "This
He
is
like freaks out. Renan's like, "Whoa!" Probably says a bad word. Yeah.
like this is the possibilities that we can offer you if you're willing to take that step."
I mean, it's crazy. Are there any risks? Like,
With every big choice, there's some risk, but I underwent it myself, and I'm fine. Never been better. And there's been many others who have been through the same type of treatment before and have shown positive results. We we've been working on this for quite some time now, and we're fairly confident that it will end well for you if you go through this treatment.
and if I do, what do I owe you guys?
We can consider it part of your onboarding as an employee of Spire.
He's just kind of like shaking his head, just like this day's been crazy. Like this is just overwhelming. Um, but th- yeah, sure. Um, I guess it doesn't hurt to try it out, right?
Wonderful. And just then, Atha comes back and Will says, "Ah, perfect, just in time. Let's let's celebrate this over another drink before we get started." And
A
she'll
little hesitant, but like he like grabs it and like toasts it with everyone, kind of like still feeling like just out of place.
and he'll take a big drink of his bottle, and Athel will join you. He says, "Wonderful. We'll we'll get started in a moment." And for now, we're gonna take a quick 5 minute break. We'll be back here 5 minutes from now, and about a quarter past the hour, and we'll get into the second half of session 0 for Mithrenon. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. See you guys soon. Hello, everybody. We're back. Back from a break. Hopefully, everyone got their snack and bathroom break done. We're gonna jump back into this session of Mithrenon, session 0. So we left off. Mithrenon had agreed to employment with Spire Technologies with Willis Shaw, and they were celebrating over a drink. So Willis looks to you, Brennan, and just says, "Okay, well, wonderful. Let's get this started."
Well, I'm gonna start tonight.
Well, we'll begin the process tonight. I mean, this whole treatment takes a few days to fully set in, and
Okay.
the sooner we get going, the better. Better it is for you. And
Sure. Okay. And Renan kind of like turns around and kind of looks out over the view of the city, past the city, kind of where like his village with his pops and his old family were, and just kind of looks a little longing and like and takes a deep breath, wondering if he's like making the right choice, and then he'll just kind of turn around and remember that one of the samurai codes is courage and no hesitancy. So he's just kind of like nods. He's like, all right, yeah, let's do this.
all right. And as you look out too, you can see some of the clouds out there that are covering the glow of the moon that's begun to rise up into the sky. And you can see kind of the brightness of the moon being covered by the clouds, but the clouds are glowing this bright color.
Yeah, he kind of doesn't like put his hood up since he's indoors, but he kind of like sees that and then kind of pulls his collar kind of like up to his face and then kind of like turns around to like put his back to it as he's kind of still not he's not real fond of the moon and what it does to him.
So Willis says, "Okay, real quickly, let me go grab a few things. I'll be right back." And he'll exit the office for a moment, and you are left alone there. Is there anything you
He
want to
grabs
do while
another
he's gone?
bottle.
Another bottle?
He starts drinking another bottle. Yeah, he's nervous.
Perfect.
Then he's just kind of like sitting there, and then he'll probably look over his desk. Like he's not gonna go behind it and like snoop.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of curiosity, just like looking what's on his desk and if there's anything. No, there's not like a file with his photo on it or anything like that, right?
Give me an investigation roll.
Be intelligence.
Yes.
What about that? A -1. 15.
15. Okay. I mean, you look around. He keeps it fairly organized. It looks more like items he really needs at a moment. Like there's pens and stuff, and a couple notebooks that he has kind of set off to the side. You don't see anything referencing you. There's nothing like that, and
He'd be dipping at that point, yeah.
yeah, there's just a few knickknacks. Do you look in the desk or just on top of the desk?
Just on the desk. He's not a snooper. He wouldn't.
Okay.
He wouldn't go looking in the desk.
So you don't really see a ton of things that stand out to you. You do notice though a bit of paper that has, again, some strange writing on it, and you look at it and you've never seen this writing before, and it's just the small little sheet of paper, but you've never seen this before. You don't know what language it is.
Instead, it's just sitting on the desk.
Yeah, it's just sitting there, kind of next to like a little lamp that's there, and it's right next to that lamp.
He'll kind of like look at the door and then like kind of grab it and just kind of look at it and just trying to like decipher it or like just kind of examine it and then probably put it back down if he can't.
Okay. I mean, you just kind of eye it up. If you want, you can give me a intelligence roll.
11.
11. Okay. Um,
I need Rachel's natural 20s. Come on now.
yeah, you need those. Yeah, you have absolutely no idea what this is. It looks very strange to you. It's
Hmm.
really jagged, like lettering or whatever it is. It almost looks like it could be like a really weird looking doodle, but you can tell it's writing of some sort. Just not really sure at all what it is.
Okay. He'll put it down, and then kind of while he's sitting there waiting, kind of reaches at his neck, and like he wears like this pendant that his pops gave him, and like a simple one, just it's pretty generic, but it kind of always reminded him of like his pops always told him like all the light and like all of his little sayings and stuff like that. So he's just kind of like holding on to it and just kind of nervously. I don't quite say saying a prayer, but he's kind of like just like talking himself up internally and trying to psych himself up.
All right. So a few moments after that happens, the door opens up again, and in walks Willis, and he comes in, and he's got a little case, and he also has a piece of paper with him, and he'll go and sit behind the desk again, and he'll take the sheet of paper and he'll kind of slide it over to you and set the case next to him on the desk, and he says, "So this is the terms of your employment, and it basically just goes over everything involved in your onboarding process, the treatment process, and just your contract with working for us. So all I need is a signature down at the bottom there from you, and we can get started."
He spends the whole time like reading it through like word by word since he can read, um, and just making sure that there's nothing like a contract that like I'm stuck with this company for years, and if I don't like do something good, then like I'm in trouble or I'm in debt to them. Nothing like that. But if it seems just kind of up on the up and up to him, I'll go ahead and kind
So
of hesitantly grab the pen and sign it if that's the case.
give me an investigation roll just to see how much you understand of this contract.
Yeah, probably not much. 3.
3. I mean,
So he's just like faking nodding. Standard.
you
Okay.
you
Hmm.
scan it over. Um, Probably what stands out to you the most is the pay is really good for compared to what you've been making selling fish, and that probably distracts you from deeply reading a lot of the rest of this contract. Just that imagining what you could do with this type of money, it probably just keeps you
Yeah.
from reading super intently on the rest of it. But that sounds really good. The pay.
2 characters down, not reading the small print. I like it. Yeah, he's like, oh wow, and he probably definitely looks a lot more like excited about it. He'll go ahead and pick it up, and he signs Mithrenon. He signs his full name.
All right, give me a perception roll.
Oh man. Natural 1.
Wonderful. Okay.
Cool. Nah, here you go. Take it. I'm excited. Let's do this.
Yeah. So I mean, you signed that contract, and um, Willis smiles real big and takes it from you and just says, "Wonderful, wonderful. We'll begin. We'll begin right now, if that's all right with you."
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, I get paid in like 2 weeks. Let's do this. This is great.
So why don't you come on over here, lay on the couch, remove your outer layer so we can have access to your arms, and we'll begin your treatment. And he goes and he opens up the case while you kind of are able to go and lay on the couch.
Don't mean to dirty up the couch or anything. But he kind of like
Oh,
folds up his
no worries,
jacket
no
and like
worries.
puts it neatly over to the side. So he'll go and lie down and probably put his feet on his jacket so his feet and shoes aren't on the couch because that's just poor manners. But he'll expose his arm.
All right. And he calls Atha back in and she says, "Okay, will you handle this one while I do his right arm?" And she says, "Yeah, of course, yeah." And he says, "All right, Renan, go ahead and lay back, get comfortable." He kind of brings a pillow underneath your head a little more, uh, and just says, "Do the best you can to lay perfectly still. There may be some discomfort."
Renan totally does that thing when you're trying to lie still and like you just twitch, even though you're trying to lie still because you're focusing on lying still. Yeah, that's he's trying.
All right, are you ready?
Um, sure. And he kind of like turns his head. He's like, I don't really like needles, but okay, sure.
If you want to close your eyes, that's all right too.
They're already closed.
And um, you feel him kind of grab your arm, and you just get the sense that he's hovering above your arm with this needle right now. And Atha goes and grabs your other arm, and she's ready to do this. And you hear Willis say, "Okay, on the count of three. Um, one, two,
Oh, okay, maybe on two. Just don't tell me when you're gonna do it.
three." And you feel the the needles go into each of your arms, right in the elbow, and you feel as the injection happens, just this rush of some sort of fluid enter your veins, um, and there's instant like burning pain that happens. What I need from you is I need you to roll me 3d6 and tell me the numbers. If you get any duplicates, uh, let me know and re-roll one of the duplicates.
Not think this is gonna be happening to Renan. Uh, 4,
Okay.
6,
Okay.
and 2.
4, 6, and 2. Perfect.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Okay. So you feel this injection shoot into your body, and you feel this spread throughout your arms. Like you feel it kind of drift down your forearms towards your hands, and it just feels like fire is burning up your skin. Your bones and muscles are just, you can feel them twitching. Like the twitch feel, like when you get the involuntary twitch of a muscle, but it's pain.
That's
It's
the
like
worst.
it's almost like a cramp type twitch, and it's just horrible pain in both forearms. You can feel both your hands just clench up into these claw-like shapes, um, as you just feel your arms vibrating, but you are unable to move them. They're just locked in place, twitching, uh, as this happens. Uh, you feel it also go up your bicep towards your shoulders, and begin to enter into your chest, and you feel this feeling of uh, compression on your lungs, and just the horrible pain. Your eyes burst open for a second, and you notice as you kind of look down in horror at your hands just clawed up, you notice these these lines that you try to hide fully aglow, as you can see streaks of moonlight coming in through the window towards you. And uh,
He's probably like grunting in pain and just and like trying to take breaths and just super scared. But as he looks from that, he looks over and at Shaw, just like wordlessly, but just his eyes like open wide. What does he look like?
so you look at
What's his like? What is his face
you see
looking
Shaw.
like?
He's almost like trying to hold you down. He's got his hands. He's kind of behind you, by your head, and he's holding your shoulders down to try to keep you in place on this couch. And you hear
Mhm.
him. You hear him faintly saying something. So give me a perception roll. Let's see if you can understand what he's saying.
You tricked him into it. It's fine. I'm just kidding. Natural 20, so
Okay.
19.
You hear his voice trying to be calming, just like, "Come on, Brennan, hold on. Push through. Push through. It'll be worth it. Push through it." And he just is holding you in place as this pain is happening. Um,
Okay.
it's entering your chest, and like once it hits your heart and just begins to shoot through the rest of your body, like your whole body feels like it's on fire, but you feel these muscle cramps just setting in everywhere. It's an entire body cramp, and it is horrible pain. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh man. Which is just the dex, right? Because there
Yeah,
wouldn't be any proficiency. Yeah. Okay.
minus one to it. 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, your body is like trying to thrash as best as can, but you feel like your muscles are so locked in place, you are unable to even move even a little bit on this couch as pain is just covering your entire body. It begins to encroach up your neck towards your head, and you you feel um, it go up towards your eyes, and you just feel it's burning as your eyes are clenched shut. Horrible pain in your eyeballs, and you feel your jaw lock up in place as you just are in so much tense pain from whatever is going through your body right now. You feel it crawl up your head, and your brain just starts like feeling like it's going haywire. I mean, you feel like it's almost like your head is on fire with thought. I mean, you're just like shooting from one thought to the next, to the next, to the next, as just flashes of images are entering your mind of what happened today and what happened previously, your childhood, living in the village. All these different images are just flashing quickly into your mind. I need you to make a intelligence saving throw for me.
Intelligence saving. Natural one.
Okay. And it just is craziness. I mean, you can't even keep your thoughts straight as this is happening. I mean, your mind feels like it's getting lost in all these images that are flashing through, and all these like phrases that you heard from people in your past, and insignificant figures, and all this just overwhelming you, and it just feels like your head is crammed full with thought and emotions, and it's awful. You can't think straight, and eventually, just kind of the whole room begins to disappear from you. It's just you're lost in this pain, in this locked up, clenched state, and this overwhelming thought going on. And as you continue to feel this intenseness, it feels like it's just going on longer and longer and longer, and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to end. Um, and you feel this internal, like in your soul type feeling, which is hard to describe most of the time, but you feel this feeling of like your inner being is being torn apart. Like you begin to lose the idea of who you are, and just those images begin to kind of disappear and black out, and eventually you try to recall some of those things, but the overwhelmingness, it just feels like blackness is covering them, the shroud is covering all of them, and you begin to lose even the thought of who you are, like what your name even is. Why don't you give me a charisma saving throw?
Oh, that's crazy. Um, Jeez. Wow. Okay. Finally something with a +2, and I get a natural one.
Another natural one?
Yeah. This
Okay.
dice is about to go.
All right.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Um, you you feel just this overwhelming blackness. You feel like your eyes are open, but you're not sure because it's just everything's dark. You no longer can feel any muscles. Like you no longer can feel any part of your body. You just feel like you are existing in nothingness at this point. There's no sound, no smell, no sight, no thought that can even like solidify in your head, and you just feel uh, like everything is going dark and fading away into nothingness.
Renan just starts shouting with like a wordless scream, like silence, but he's just screaming.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't hear
There's like nothing.
you don't hear
Yeah.
Willis anymore. You don't hear anything. Like everything is gone. Existence feels like it's just disappeared, and You don't know how long it is that you're stuck in this state, but you wake up and you're in the woods, and there's a chill, this cold bite to the air, and you just are laying on the ground on this cold, slightly damp earth. You feel some grass like growing up on you, some leaves that are on the ground, um, some rocks that are under you, roots that are uncomfortable underneath you, and it's just cold and quiet. And you're in the night with these woods surrounding you, just laying there. What do you do?
Yeah, okay. Um, uh, he's probably like shivering, and still clenching, but like he is he able to like sit up, like and move? Like he goes to like sit up real quick, like out of as like a it's like a spasm.
Yeah, you sit up, and I mean you're just in like your undershirt and some simple pants, and it's
Still have the blood on it.
you look down and it looks like it's been cleaned.
Huh. Um, he, especially based on those ones, he's just like frantically looking around, and he just starts screaming, "Shaw, Shaw!" He's just like screaming his name over and over again, just looking around, like trying to get his bearings.
So you're looking, trying to get any bearing of direction and anything, and it just looks like forest every direction. There's no indicator of which direction anything is. It just looks like you're in the middle of the woods in the dead silence.
Crazy. But he can hear himself shouting now, right?
You can hear yourself shouting now.
Okay. He's just kind of like breathing hard and just like scared, witless. And just like slowly get up, and he like gets to his feet, and he's just trying to find any sort of direction or fire or anything. And he'll look to the sky, I think, being a fisherman, and try and locate the North Star.
Okay. You look up, and it's just cloud cover everything. Like there's no stars visible at all. The trees are blocking a lot of the sky too. This looks like it's
Mm.
fairly dense woods, but yeah, every like little bit you can see of the sky is completely cloud covered.
Yeah. Well, I guess in that case, if there's no other, like, he'll just like look around the woods, and if there's nothing that like gives him any reason to go that way, he'll just randomly pick a direction and just start walking.
Okay. So you start walking. Why don't you roll me a d4?
D4, I wasn't prepped for that one. Hey, guess what? It's another one.
Oh, keep it on theme, I guess.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
So you just start walking. You have no idea where you're going, what direction you're going, where you're gonna end up. You begin walking, and I mean, there's clearly like a moon that's out there because it's very faintly illuminating the area, but I mean, you can still see fairly well in the dark. Just everything's pretty gray and colorless around you as you try to traverse this forest. Um,
He'll put his hood up as well if you're saying the moon's out.
yeah. Um, Actually, you don't have your jacket with you. It's just your tank top.
Or just the t-shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he'll just keep on walking. Yeah, just trying to find something.
So you keep moving. Why don't you roll me a perception roll?
Has a 1 in it, but it's a 10 minus 1's a 9.
Okay. As you look around, it's really strange how eerily quiet it is here. Like, the only thing you hear is the crunch of your footsteps on the ground. You don't hear any wildlife sounds. You don't hear even wind. Like, it's just eerily quiet as you walk with only the sounds of your footsteps. And you keep moving, and as you walk, you begin to notice that from where you were, a lot of these trees, um, they look more wilted and unhealthy. So you keep going forward, or do you want to turn back?
Like rubs his hand on the bark and like obviously like he's from the woods, so it's like this weird like he feels home, but he feels out of place because he also like had didn't want to do anything with it. He kind of like starts feeling like the withered like life force of the tree and the difference. But he's gonna press forward.
Okay. Give me an investigation roll.
Same dice. 8.
8? Okay. You rub your hand along the bark of this tree, and it feels really dried out. Um, it reminds you of a dead tree. But you keep moving, you keep pressing forward, and as you keep moving, everything around you looks more and more like it's dying, more and more wilted. Uh, there's no leaves on many of these trees now. It's just bare branches. And you can see the sky much more clear now, but again, it's just complete fog or complete covering of clouds over the stars and the moon. And that quietness and alone feeling is sinking in. Like, where is everybody? There's nothing. There's no sound, no indicator of anything.
Easy. Um yeah, I mean like his heart's beating fast. He's probably still just freaking out. And I think at this point, like especially with the silence, like, I hate silence in the woods. Um I think he just starts breaking into like a run. Still in the same direction, but he just starts running in that direction.
Okay,
Just trying to find anything or anybody. He's just freaking out.
so you start running, and do you like shout or anything, or
Yeah, he'll probably still be shouting like Shaw or like anybody out there, help.
so yeah, you're shouting as you're running, trying to get any attention. I mean, again, all you hear is your voice and the crunch of land underneath you, the footfalls, no other sound. But as you keep walking or running forward, you feel almost as if something's watching you. You get this like that prickly feeling on the back of your neck, like something is watching you and is paying attention to you. And as you run forward, your your footfalls feel like they're kind of sinking into the ground more, like it's getting more wet and muddy, and uh, the ground is much more slippery right now than it was before.
Does he like and he still doesn't recognize like the topography at all, like that this would be this would be on this part of the town near the lakes or like nothing like that, right? Like it's just foreign to him.
Let's see, what's nature? That's intelligence. So give me an intelligence roll.
8.
Okay. I figure one of these times you gotta roll pretty good, but
I mean, yeah, eventually. I rolled a nat 20 there, so
yeah, earlier, yeah.
it's just narratively doing it. He's freaking out.
Yeah, you have absolutely no idea where you are. You
Yeah.
have no idea what's going on. Um, you do. You can tell though that like the area that you are in is is almost like a bog type thing, or a swampy area. It's
Hmm.
getting kind of gross, and you can feel like mud begin to splash up onto your legs, uh, and cover your boots and your pants more. You keep pushing
Uh,
forward.
yeah, I guess. I mean, if he has no other reason not to,
Okay,
yeah, I'll just probably just be pushing forward.
so you keep running, keep shouting, and you're met with that cold feeling of emptiness. Besides the fact that you feel like something has its eye on you, though, and you're not sure what it is. You don't see anything that's watching you. You just get that sense that there's something out there that sees you.
Uh, I'll be like looking around, like over his shoulder every couple feet, and still just breaking out in his like as quickly as he can through this like mud and stuff like this.
And you keep running, keep shouting, and eventually you reach like the crest of this small hill that's in this wooded area, and you look down and you see, from what you remember, it looks like your village.
Hmm.
But it looks cold
Uh,
and dark, like nothing's there. It looks abandoned.
uh, he'll push forward into the village, maybe try and find his old house,
So you,
or
you,
to just get out of the woods, you know.
you make your way down this hill more and more, um, into your village, and it just looks empty. No lights are on, no fires going, um, no candles lit, and it's quiet still. Absolute silence. You also notice how, as you step, your feet are sinking in probably a good 3 or more inches with every step. The ground is just
Mm.
completely trash right now for anything good.
And it wasn't like that when he grew up there, right?
No, you don't remember it being like this.
Yeah. Huh. And he's just like bewildered, like looking around. He's gonna just start looking for anybody here, any
Yeah, give me a perception
like
roll.
any answer on what's going on. Come on, dice. Hey, 15. Rolled above a
That's
10.
much better.
They're
Um,
narrative dice. That's what they are.
it's
That's all it
perfect. Yeah.
is.
So you begin to just look through this village for anything, any sign of anybody that could be there. And as you are like looking around, you happen to look back behind you for a second, and you watch as all the trees on this hill that are behind you, kind of leading into the village, you watch as just this blackness overcomes them. Like they just disappear into complete darkness, and like you can see in the dark normally, but it's just nothingness as it closes in on your village, like almost like a fog cloud moving in, but it's just pure blackness, and it's
We'll
making
probably like
its way towards the village right now.
we'll probably like trip over backwards and like fall into the mud. But if it's still like coming in on the village, we'll probably like scramble and like turn around and start just trying to run away from it.
So you covered in mud, make yourself get to your feet, and continue to move in, looking for any sign of people. Just feeling that
Or
cold,
protection or anything. Yeah.
yeah, cold sensation on the back of your neck. Uh, just feeling that watched sensation, and it just feels almost claustrophobic as you watch as everything kind of outside of the village just continues to be slowly covered up in this black energy that just makes whatever was out there before just disappear. Um, as you get up to, you notice that the mud doesn't feel like normal mud does. It's almost more sticky.
Like
Um,
tar-like
yeah,
almost.
almost like a tar type feel, or some sort of syrupy type thing. It's thick though, so more tarish, I guess, and it looks black as well.
Um, he's gonna like rub it on his fingers, like when he like realizes it's not mud. He's gonna kind of like give it like a quick sniff to like try and like figure out what it is, or like if he's seen it before.
So you give it a quick sniff, and
Ian sniffs.
let's see. Sniff is related to perception, right? So why don't you give me that roll?
17.
Much better. Um, you give it a quick sniff, and it kind of smells almost like rot. Like when you have a fish, maybe it begins to rot a little bit and stink. Like it smells like that.
Definitely nothing good. Okay.
No, it does not smell good. It smells like death almost.
Yeah.
You
He's just gonna keep on shouting out for anybody and
you can
just trying to stay away from the darkness.
you continue to shout, and eventually you see a little home that's there, and you're able to. You can either choose to go into that, or you can keep pushing deeper into the village and try to find your childhood home. Your choice.
How far would I think that my childhood house is from there?
If you had to guess, you might have to move in maybe a minute or so more of running towards it.
I think at this point, yeah, he'd run to his old house.
Okay. So you begin to make your way in towards the house. And as you look back, kind of over your shoulder, just to see what's going on behind you, it's reached the edge of your village. This black shroud is just covering, and it begins to slowly close in on the outskirts of your village and
Oof.
engulf that in the blackness, and it just vanishes. It's all disappearing as it slowly moves its way into your village. But you keep pushing forward. You keep hustling towards your home, um, unsure
He's
of what you'll
booking
even.
it at this point.
Yeah, you're unsure of what you'll even find there, but you keep moving. You keep going. This thought of like you have to get there is driving you, and you hustle, and eventually you see your home very similar to how you imagine or you remember it, but again it's cold and dark, and you don't sense any presence of anybody there. Um,
Does any of these buildings look like damaged or like fire hit them or attacked, or do they just seem abandoned?
it's more abandoned feeling to you.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, he'll just like run forward and just like quickly look in and taking a gauge, will like bust through the front door and trying to get in.
So yeah, you hustle into the front door, and it's open. Um, it's it's unlocked. And you get in, and you are inside, and you see before you two figures that look like they're just frozen in time, and they have a layer of this black tar-like substance that's just covering them, and they're standing there frozen in almost like a look of horror.
He just,
The,
mom, dad.
these are
They're
your
trying to see if it's them.
these are your parents.
Mom, dad. He just runs forward and he's trying to like claw and wipe off this stuff from them.
You try to wipe away at it, and it's just so thick. It's barely even moving as you're wiping away at it. Um,
He just starts like crying, like just bawling, just mom, mom, no, mom, and he just like starts hugging them.
so you kind of grab both of them. You feel the stickiness just like come onto to your skin as well, and you get that cold sense to just begins to move in more and more as it approaches. Still feeling that being watched sensation. and you watch as darkness begins to surround the house you're in. And you can look out the windows on the sides, and it's just black nothingness. And it keeps closing in more and more. And eventually it begins to just move through the walls, and the walls are gone. You don't see those anymore. And it's black energy getting closer and closer to you. There's no escape. You're just surrounded by an orb of blackness every
I think
direction.
Brennan just like falls to his knees and he's just like still screaming out for his parents and just holding and like holding on to their legs, just like kind of just almost like giving up, but just fear.
You you watch as this energy continues to move in till until it's like 5 feet from you and your parents, and you're just stuck there. Um,
He like closes his eyes and put his heads down, like waiting for whatever this is to consume him.
you begin to feel some of that tar-like substance slide on your arms a bit, and it begins to almost like drip off your body. You
I don't think he wipes it off. He doesn't do anything. He's just holding on to his parents' figures and just he's not fighting at this point. He's just letting it happen.
Are you watching? Or are you eyes closed on this?
I think at first his eyes would be closed, but the more he starts feeling it, his eyes will open up and watch.
Okay. So as you're on your knees, like you watch as it begins to engulf like your parents' heads and begin to make its way closer and closer to you. But you watch as this tar-like substance uh, slides down. You can feel it moving through you and onto the ground and dripping and begins to pool. And you watch as something begins to form from that. And more tar continues to drip out of you. Like it's you look and it's like coming out of the pores of your skin. And you watch as it comes out from underneath your shirt and down your pants and out the bottom of your pants, and all begins to slowly pool. This blackness, this black tar-like substance. This one, this tar though, it has a bit more of a shine to it. It looks less sticky and tacky and more liquidy, I guess you could say. And it pools at your knees, like, and slowly it begins to take shape and rise up next to you as this black energy closes in even more, and you watch as the puddle at your feet takes form into almost like a human-like form, and it begins to just reach up its hands, and you watch as suddenly a beam of moonlight shoots down through the blackness and collides with this black shrouded, or this black figure that's forming in front of you. And from the hands of this creature, as this beam collides into the chest, shoots out light, and the darkness begins to back away slowly and flee from the light that's forming. The form continues to grow from the liquid dripping from your pores and grow bigger and bigger in front of you until it gives a vague form of like a liquid female form. But more and more moonlight is shooting out from the hands, and you can see on the arms and legs and torso of this thing lines very similar to what you have when you are in moonlight, coming down the arms, from the chest down the arms, down the legs, and up the head as well, and more. The moonbeam light from the hands grows and grows and grows, and eventually all the darkness flees, and you're left standing or left at your knees with only this figure there. The figure turns and drops to one knee and reaches her hand to your chin and just says, "Are you all right?"
Do I recognize this figure at all?
No, you wouldn't recognize this figure.
He probably like falls backwards, like on like, from his knees back, like sitting down, but like kind of like almost like half crawling away, and just like sits there in just like just fear. He's just not really saying anything. What? What just happened?
Are you hurt? Are you are you all right? And as you look around too, like the house is gone, your parents are gone. There's just nothing but kind of like the empty woodedness of your village that was. It's just no structures. It's just woods with nothing. It's clear ground every direction.
Almost as like similar to like where he woke up at, like that style of
It's
woods.
it's more just like you're on ground. There's no trees. There's nothing. And you look
Okay.
up, and now the clouds are gone, and you can see the moon and the stars as well.
Like
All
looks up
all
and then
darkness,
like
all cloud is gone.
yeah, he like looks up and like looks at the moon. He's like still looking around, especially for his parents. Like he's kind of like looking for what happened to them, and then he kind of just looks back at this figure. Is this female form still in like covered in like the tar form, or is it like materialized into an actual female figure?
I mean, it looks like the form of a human woman or an elven
Okay,
woman. It's a humanoid woman shape, but it looks like it's just living black liquid. Like
it's
it's not
crazy.
tar, it's just black liquid form. Like that's all she
Right.
is.
Okay. I don't think I'm okay. I'm seeing things.
And she says, "Here, let me try to help." And she reaches her hand out towards you.
He like takes it back, like in fear, like just reaches it back to him.
And she says, "Please, I mean you no harm."
And then kind of just slowly like put his hand back out, almost like a scared kid would.
And when she grabs onto your kind of like your wrist and forearm area, and you can feel like your hand kind of naturally grasp her wrist and forehand, and it's this soothing, cool sensation of liquid, but it's solid feeling to you. Like you can't move your fingers into the liquid. It's just like you only can touch the surface of this liquidy forearm that she has. And as she kind of reaches out and her hand grasps onto yours as well, you feel this warm energy emanate from her hand, and this slight glow begin to appear from her hand, and your soreness from falling and everything like that just begins to fade away, and you feel like rejuvenated and uh, much better than you felt before, and like somewhat even like a calming sensation begins to enter you.
His like breathing like slows down a little bit, and he starts relaxing, kind of just from this peace. He just kind of looks back up, and he's like looking at this figure in the eyes, still just like with confusion. Just who Who are you? What are you?
And she looks to you and just, I don't know what I am. I don't know. But I think I'm here to help you. I think that's my purpose.
Do you have a name?
I do not.
He's like looking back at his arms from like where he's like remembers like all this liquid like coming out of his pores and like from him. And it's just like his mind's just not able to comprehend what's going on here. It's just, do you know where we are?
No. I've never been here before. Are you familiar with this place?
You said this is different from the village, or is it like just a village without anything?
It looks just like a clearing you're in right now. Like, whatever was here is gone. Like, there's nothing. It's just
Nothing
land.
recognizable, right?
Yep.
Okay. Not here. I thought I was. I thought I was in the village when that darkness was coming in and you showed up, but I don't. I don't know where we're at now.
I think my purpose is to aid you in fighting darkness.
Hey, you were pretty cool at that. Thank you.
I I will help you if that's what you desire. But I must know you are aligned with my my ideals to remove darkness from this world. I need you to make an oath to me for me to aid you, if that is what you desire.
And he still feels like that relaxing, calming aura from her, right? Like this something familiar with her.
Yeah, I mean,
Like unrecognizable but familiar.
you have no idea who she is, but you just feel safe with her for some reason.
Okay. I've take that oath.
Present your oath to me then.
He just kind of like he looks confused. What do you mean?
You must tell me what you plan to do with the abilities I can grant. What oath you swear to me to hold to dedicate your life to, in order to use my power that I offer appropriately. So declare your oath, your intention to me now, that I may hold you to it.
And Renan with like a peace and nostalgic kind of just moment. He doesn't really get up, but he kind of like goes to one knee in front of this figure and he starts thinking back on the lessons that his pops taught him. To get up at dawn and to work hard for everything you do. to provide for others. And he remembers his kind of like step brothers and protecting them. And he remembers his parents from the village. And even though he ran away, the love that they kind of gave him growing up. And he pictures the woman in the alley and standing between her and the guards. And then lastly, he remembers seeing the sun setting in the tower at spires looking out over the city as the darkness is starting to fall over the city. And he starts speaking up. He says, I pledge to be the moon, to protect the innocent, to be a light in the darkness, to be a shield for the weak, and to have courage when things look bleak. And I offer my life so that others will be protected.
I accept your oath. And she reaches out her hands to both your shoulders. And she begins to move in towards your head, and she plants a kiss on your forehead. And almost like instinctively, your head kind of lowers a bit as she does this, and you close your eyes.
Tears start streaming down his eyes, his face.
And you just feel that like safe sensation as she kisses your forehead. You open your eyes, and you're in a room. Walls are white, and you're just laying on a bed. It's pretty simple. There's a door that leads out, but there's no windows. You look to be in a entirely different place than the Spire Tower or the woods that you were in.
Just sits there and kind of like holds on to that feeling.
Yeah, that inner warmth just continues to hold itself like deep within your being. You feel strong. You feel courage. You feel just this inner power growing within you. And you feel safe and protected. And like you have what it takes to make a difference.
I think for the first time in about probably throughout his whole life, but maybe at the very least since he left the village, he doesn't feel alone anymore. That loneliness that he's like kept in solitude to stay away from people. I think like he's holding on to that feeling now of like, yeah, like you're saying that it's there for him. And then he'll open his eyes and kind of just start trying to figure out where he's at again, because he's now wondering if he has like transportation powers or something, because he's freaking out.
You notice a face kind of look in through the window on the doorway. An individual who's decked out in looks like combat armor, and he's got a holster with a a pistol on it. Um, he comes in and he just says, "Sir, are you doing all right? Do you need anything?"
Um, some answers?
Let me
Who
get
are
the boss
you?
for you. Uh, I'm just one of the keepers here, the guards here. Let me get the boss. He'll be in shortly. And he turns and begins to walk down the hallway. Um, about a minute later, in walks Willis again. And
If you said it's been a whole minute,
yeah,
and was there anything else in the room? You said it's just a white room, like an empty room with the bed.
you have a little side table which has a glass of water on it as well. Um, but otherwise, it's pretty empty. No windows, just the one door with the window in it. And
I think he's gonna like down. He's like down a big gulp. But within that minute, he would try and walk out of the room and try and get his bearings where he's at, or like what else is in this hallway.
okay, so you get up and um, walk out the door, and you notice there's a couple other guards that are stationed in this hallway, and they kind of take note of you, and they're just like, "Oh, sir, do you need anything?"
He just kind of like shakes his head and just kind of like seeing if they're gonna stop him, but he just like just leaves the room and just like looking around, trying to just see what else is here.
Um, and they say, "Sir, if you want to wait, Mr. Shaw will be with you shortly." And you can give me a perception roll to see what you see.
Are there other doors like with the windows as well?
Yeah. So as you
Yeah,
look
I
down,
think he'd
there's
try
more on
and
each side.
yeah. Ooh, nice. Minus one, 14.
14. Okay. So you walk down a little bit, and you look into another room, and you see another individual who's just kind of laying on the bed, um, eyes closed. Looks like they're fast asleep in this room. Um, but it's very similarly decorated. Not much difference to what you have in your room. But the guard is approaching you by now, and he looks like he's kind of like ready to escort you back to your room.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the body language you get from him.
Yeah, yeah. By that time, he'd kind of like he's probably like coming out of his daze, but yeah, just like turning around and but he's definitely trying to just see like who else is here and if mainly if they're like he's one especially after seeing the guards, he's just trying to see if anyone's like strapped down or if they're free or like kind of what's going on here. Are they being experimented on or is it just kind of like a recovery area? That's just what he's trying to figure out.
Yeah, the person in the room was a human male, and did not look like they were strapped down at all. They were just lying there peacefully asleep.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Um, but the guard begins to kind of escort you back to your room, and around that time, that's when Willis would turn the corner and just be like, "Ah, you're awake, Brennan. How are you feeling?"
Oh, um, that was trippy. Ah, feeling weird, man.
Well, you went through quite an ordeal, but you pulled through just like I expected you to do, and um, you seem better for it. Actually, you look well, and he'll kind of walk with you back into the room that you were in.
He's kind of like just still looking like perplexed a little bit. And how'd you guys find me?
What do you mean?
I was left in the woods. How'd you know where to find me?
You were never in any woods. You were in my office, and you received the treatment. And you blacked out. We brought you here to recover.
He slowly starts realizing that maybe it's like most of that was in his head. Um, so I've been here the whole time.
Well, we brought you here after the treatment. You've been here for about a day now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you really need to tell people how much that hurts, man. That was intense.
Well, everybody's treatment is different. It's hard to to gauge it. Maybe I'll have to keep that in mind for the future.
Yeah, like some pain numbers, painkillers, or like something to bite down on.
I'll definitely keep that in mind going forward.
He's kind of like slowly, kind of like stretching and like moving his muscles a little bit, and just kind of like getting that like standing up out of bed feeling gone. Um, does he feel any different?
I mean, how do you feel? I mean, just like your head feels fairly clear. I mean, you feel like that inner strength still. Um, like you feel really good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're not in horrible pain anymore. If you feel good, actually, like healthy.
I mean, whatever he did to me though, I feel pretty good.
Well, wonderful. Well, we'll continue to monitor you. We'll continue to work with you and see if we can figure out what what may have happened for you, what um, what changes may have happened, so we can help you figure out what you can do now, what your purpose is, what you can offer.
Thank you. I'll make myself useful.
We appreciate that, Renan. Thank you for what you're doing. And he'll kind of pat you on the shoulder. Just say, "Well, we'll bring in some food for you, help you build up your strength a little bit. We'll get started on training shortly."
His eyes kind of like widen in both fear and excitement at the word of training. Like, what does that entail? Um, but yeah, he seems pretty appreciative.
And he'll get up and leave the room. And that's where we will end today's session.
Crazy. That was nuts. Cool.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, we will be back again next Sunday, again at 2 p.m. Central Time. So that's 3 Eastern and noon Pacific. Um, and we'll be back, and we're gonna introduce another character. We're gonna do another session 0 for uh, another one of our characters, and this will be our third and final character that will be joining us for now. And tune in next Sunday for that. Go ahead and give us a follow if you are interested in get notifying when we go live. And we'll also be posting this onto YouTube, our YouTube channel, and we have the link down in the bio of this page that you can find, and you can watch it there again if you'd like to, or pass it on and share it with other people if you feel so led to, and you can subscribe to that as well if you'd like to keep updated on anything you might miss. But thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate all the people who were commenting and keeping it lively in the chat there, and we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week. So bye everybody.
Bye.